And we're live. Hello, everyone out there in Cyberland. My name is Debbie, and I'm a youth organizer for Teen Empowerment, and I will be your host for this evening's fourth episode of Senseless, an audio series brought to you by Teen Empowerment on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. of each week. So, as you can see, we have the timer already going. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes, but before we get to episode 4, I want to show you Teen Empowerment Studios TE Studios Dance Committee Positive TE's Challenge. Comment in the chat and let us know what you think. Here, check it out. TE, positive TE. That's such a tongue twister. Positive TE. Positive TE. Here we go. And it's about to get started. Okay, then. Look at y'all. I'm going to have to show y'all a little something. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of positive TE. So, back to our census series. Like Tuesday's episode, we will not have the actors on before the episode, but we will have a few of the actors on after to talk to the audience. And it's time for you guys to ask us questions. We also have a special guest joining us later. We'd like to thank Mr. Ricky Grant, Chief of Community Engagement for the District Attorney's Office, for joining us also. And as you know, there has been an uptick in violence in our community, and as the summer approaches, the concern increases. This series has shown the realism of what is happening in our community, as well as the solutions for how we as a community can join together to be a part of preventing the violence. And Mr. Ricky Grant is going to join us for that conversation. So please tag your friends, create a watch party, email them, share it with everyone, and let us know in the chat where you guys are watching from. Comment in the chat as you guys listening, because we sure have a very exciting episode for you guys. And I hope everyone is wearing face masks if you're leaving the house and staying safe and sound and healthy, because sure now it's getting rough out here. We give you Senseless.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of Senseless. Now, you remember in episode 3, Naya got schooled by Miss G, and Trey shared his heart with Monty about the loss of his sister and his disappointment with her unsolved murder. Tonight, you will see an example of where there's smoke, there's fire. And it gets so hot that the police try to hose it down. We are going to take you on a ride. So hold on to your seat and enjoy episode 4 of Senseless.
What's poppin', Monty? What's up, Che? I don't know what y'all doing, but I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
What's up, Nine? You good? I was just giving Trey that work.
Yeah, alright. Shut up, Monty.
So I'm feeling better now? You know I don't like seeing you sad, right?
What? I wasn't sad. Whatever, Naya.
Good, alright, whatever. Anyways, can one of them use your ball for a little bit?
No.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Monty, I said no.
Why not?
It's probably because Che doesn't like corn.
What? No. It's because he don't like me. He thinks I'm with 10th Street or something.
Oh, so you at 10th Street now?
No, he's not with any of that. You know we stay away from all that, Naya.
Yo, give us the ball. What's taking y'all so long? No. It's not even your ball. Yo, go get your own. Yo, who you talking to like that, bro?
Hey, yo, chill out. Quan, it's your boys.
Give us the ball, Monty.
I said no. Why don't y'all leave us alone?
Yo, Monty, you better get this little kid.
Shut up, Quan. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Yo, give us the ball before something happens. Like what? What's gonna happen, fool?
Oh, shoot. Che?
Hey, sorry guys, we're just trying to fix some technical difficulties we're having. Bear with us. In the meantime, you guys can comment down where you guys are watching from.
Hey, ain't that,
Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of Senseless. Now, you remember in episode 3, Naya got schooled by Miss G, and Trey shared his heart with Monty about the loss of his sister and his disappointment with her unsolved murder. Tonight, you will see an example of where there's smoke, there's fire. And it gets so hot that the police try to hose it down. We are going to take you on a ride. So hold on to your seat and enjoy episode 4 of Senseless.
What's poppin', Monty? What's up, Che? I don't know what y'all doing, but I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
What's up, Nine? You good? I was just giving Trey that work.
Yeah, alright. Shut up, Monty.
So I'm feeling better now? You know I don't like seeing you sad, right?
What? I wasn't sad. Whatever, Naya.
Good, alright, whatever. Anyways, can one of them use your ball for a little bit?
No.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Monty, I said no.
Why not?
It's probably because Che doesn't like corn.
What? No. It's because he don't like me. He thinks I'm with 10th Street or something.
Oh, so you at 10th Street now?
No, he's not with any of that. You know we stay away from all that, Naya.
Yo, give us the ball. What's taking y'all so long?
No. It's not even your ball. Yo, go get your own.
Yo, who you talking to like that, bro?
Hey, yo, chill out. Quan, it's your boys.
Give us the ball, Monty. I said no. Why don't y'all leave us alone?
Yo, Monty, you better get this little kid.
Shut up, Quan. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Yo, give us the ball before something happens.
Like what? What's gonna happen, fool?
Oh, shoot. Che? Ain't that, some of the 10th Street boys your sister used to, hang with?
I don't remember.
This is bad. This is bad. Trey, get behind me.
I said what's gonna happen, fool?
If you want smoke, let's get it.
Well, let's get it then.
Let's go.
Bro, quit all the talking. There's no time like the present, so let's get it.
Hey. Hey, break this up. Y'all go home. This ain't what the park is for.
Y'all really doing this right now?
Doing what?
Fighting in the park. This is a place for kids to play. They shouldn't have to be worried about getting shot by gangbanging punks like you.
Man, we ain't no gang-banging punks. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Don't y'all have homes to be at? Never mind. I don't even know why I bothered asking.
Y'all don't know anything about us.
What I do know is you better watch your mouth. It'd be in your best interest to learn some respect.
Respect? I don't give respect to those who haven't earned it. Instead of bothering us, why don't y'all go find who murdered people in our hood? Why is it that there's so many unsolved murders in Boston? Most of them are in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. Answer that, Officer Coon.
Hey. My name is Officer Rainey. Who do you think you are disrespecting?
He's not disrespecting you, Rainey.
You know what? Same old cops. Why y'all act like black people are the only ones out here killing? We're not.
You see, most of us are just living life, trying to make it like everybody else.
So go find who you need to find and leave us alone.
Hey.
You see? That hostility right there, that's what puts you in handcuffs.
Hey now. No need to talk about handcuffs.
No. There they all go again. Y'all just love blaming everyone else but yourselves. I grew up in this neighborhood too. But even then, I was taught to respect authority unlike some of you people.
Rainey, give them a break. Everyone is fine now. Everyone is gone. Trey, Monty, y'all just need to go home. Trey, I know your aunt wouldn't want you around here. And Monty, make sure y'all are watching who you're hanging out with next time.
Yeah, we cool. We out. Come on, Trey, let's go.
No, Monty, get off me. Why should I have to leave the park? Those two officers should be the ones leaving the park. And they should go find who killed my sister.
Trey, calm down. We've been doing the best we can.
No, you've been on this case for 2 years and still haven't found her murderer. Y'all come around here just to make matters worse.
Oh, now we're making matters worse?
Go home. What was that all about, Rainey?
What was what all about? Don't start with this, Reggie. You're not helping these people by allowing them to think it's okay to be out here fighting each other and acting like animals. How is that acceptable to you?
These people? Really? Don't you mean our people? You know, you sound so self-righteous sometimes. God forbid your future children end up in the streets hanging with the wrong crowd and they end up making bad decisions.
You can't keep enabling these kids. What they need is tough love.
Oh yeah, tough love. Well, you had the tough without the love. If I'm being honest, Rainey, it's already hard enough doing this work. It's even harder doing it with a partner I can't even trust has my back.
I can't believe you're doing this right now. You're gonna trust those bad kids over your own partner?
Those bad kids are our kids. If they're bad, then what are we?
What are you talking about, Reggie?
Never mind, Rainey. I'm not surprised that you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. It's time to clock out. You know what? Just drop me off at Trey's house.
Who is it?
It's Officer Reggie Price.
What do you want?
Can I talk to you?
I hope this is news about Tony.
It's actually about Trey.
Oh, Lord. Did something happen to Trey? Please don't tell me something happened to Trey. Oh, my gosh.
No, he's fine.
Don't scare me like that. Well, the only thing you need to be talking to me about is finding who killed my niece. That's the least you can do for my sister Cynthia and Trey.
I know. I'm trying my best, and I'm hopeful that we can get to the bottom of this. I can assure you that I'm doing everything to find Tony's killer. I know Cynthia. I know your sister deserves that.
Cynthia deserves so much more when she was alive. Let's be real. All you did was abuse her, you treated her like trash, and you abandoned Trey. You gave over those responsibilities as a dad to me. So I don't know why you're talking to me about Trey.
Cheryl, I came to apologize for everything. I've been thinking about this for a long time now. You know, I just saw Trey at the park, and now I'm realizing how much damage I've done by not taking responsibility for him as a father, his father. It's killing me that he's hurting so much over Tony's death. Tony didn't have her father in her life, and Trey didn't have me in his. Seeing him at that park just really hit me hard.
What happened at the park, Reggie?
It's cool. Nothing to be alarmed about. Believe me, I wouldn't let anything happen to him. But seeing him earlier today, I thought about how I wasn't much of a man. How I treated Cynthia, what I did to Trey was wrong. I wish Cynthia was here for me to tell her I'm sorry.
What do you expect me to do, Reggie? What? She was my sister. My niece Tony is gone. What do you expect me to do? I'm raising your son. You left me here to pick up the broken pieces.
And now I'm here to pick up the piece that I left behind. My son. Cheryl, I want to be in his life. I want to fix what I broke. I'm trying to do right. Not only to you, but to Cynthia too. I know my actions caused a lot of pain.
Reggie, what makes you think this is the way to go, huh? Trey asks me about his father every day. I had to be the one to tell him I don't know, because I didn't know. I didn't know if you wanted to be in his life, if you were gonna keep coming in and out and breaking his heart. I didn't even know if I should tell him you're his dad. He doesn't trust men, and he sure doesn't trust police. Reggie, this puts me in a bad situation with my son, my nephew. You're gonna break his trust in me, the only consistent person in his life. If you tell him, he'll be devastated.
He'll be devastated if he doesn't know. It would be hard at first, but he needs his father. He needs me.
He needs you?
I didn't have mine, and I know damn well I needed him. That's why I became an officer in the first place, to be there for those kids like me who were fatherless.
Well, you certainly forgot about your own.
I know, Cheryl. I know. And I hope you can forgive me so we can start fresh. We all need healing, Cheryl. Despite what happened in the past, we're a family. And we're all we've got.
What the hell is he doing here? I swear this better have something to do with Tony's murder. Otherwise, you need to dip, bruh.
Actually, he was just leaving.
What did he have to say about Tony?
All he said was hopefully that we'll get to the bottom of it. Trey, he told me he saw you at the park. Is everything okay? I hope you're not getting involved with anything that's dangerous.
That's what he told you? Did he tell you about his partner and how his partner was being a jerk coming in the park harassing her own people?
Was he also harassing people?
Nah, not really, but that's his partner.
Well, it does seem like he cares about the kids in the community.
I don't know where you got that impression, but he needs to worry about finding Tony's murderer.
I pray to God they do. Are you hungry? I'm about to whip something up for dinner. You want to help me?
No.
Well, you better go whip up that homework then.
I don't have any homework. I didn't go to somebody's class project today.
What?
Nothing, Auntie. I'm tired. I'm gonna just go lay down for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Trey. Go read a book or something. I'll call you when the food is ready.
I was actually gonna go read Tony's diary. As I enter this in my journal, Trey, I've been thinking a lot about you. You can't let the fact that our dads weren't in our lives cause you to get you off your game, bro. Auntie Cheryl took both of us in,
helped raise us, and now she's doing the best to keep us on point. Don't mess up like I am, Trey. I haven't been smart about who's in my circle, and I'm doing things for my boyfriend intentionally that compromises our safety. I'm blinded by a boy who's blinded by the streets. I don't want you to have to watch your back. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do things I regret. I love him, but I don't love what he's doing. I don't want you to regret life. I want you to have a life ahead of you. Just know, Trey, I love you. I'll always have your back, and I'll always be here for you. Love, your big sis, Tony.
Well, you're not here. Why did you have to leave me, Tony? It's not fair. Why? Somebody needs to pay for this. Why did Mom have to leave us? I never felt good enough for anything. Not good enough for you to stay, and not good enough for Ma to stay. Not good enough for that so-called father of mine to stay, wherever he is. Now Auntie Cheryl is all I have. It's not fair, Tony.
Trey, who are you talking to? Who's in there with you?
No one, Auntie. That was just the TV.
Boy, you don't have a TV, Trey. Now who you sneak in there?
I was just kidding. I was talking to myself, Auntie.
You've been talking to yourself a lot lately, Trey. I don't think you're okay.
I'm fine, Auntie. I'm fine. I'm just cooling.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say I'm cooling or I'm chill or I'm booling or whatever y'all say. Well, I know you ain't booling. You really need to consider getting some help, Trey. You've been through a lot. Trauma is a real thing. You have some major losses in your life. What can I do for you? What can I do to help you?
You can bring back my sister and mother. I don't care if I ever see my deadbeat father.
Trey, where are you going, Trey? Trey!
Thank you for tuning into episode 4 of Senseless. See you on Tuesday, May 12th at 7 p.m. for episode 5, where Miss G schools Quan, the L Street gang member. We'll get a clear glimpse of Quan when we meet Uncle Jimmy. See you next Tuesday for another episode of Senseless.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Teen Empowerment's Talkback of Senseless, the audio series. I'm Debbie, your host, and I hope everyone enjoyed the first 4 episodes of Senseless. And don't miss the next episode on Tuesday, May 12th at 7 p.m. So today we have some of the characters from tonight's episode with us who will be discussing how we as a community can stop the cycle of violence. Please welcome Joe Corey, who plays Uncle Jimmy, Janaya, who plays Naya. And we would also like to give a welcome to our special guest, Mr. Grant, Chief of Community Engagement for the District Attorney's Office. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, Mr. Grant, can you tell us what your role for the DA's office is? Oh, are you muted?
I was muted. I'm live now. First, let me just say you guys did an amazing job. I love what you guys are doing with the Senseless series. I love the storyline. I love the complexity of the storyline. There's a lot going on. It's real life. So I'm the chief of community engagement for the Suffolk County DA's office. The district attorney, her name is Rachel Rollins. She's the first Black woman district attorney in Massachusetts history, period, and absolutely the first in Suffolk County. As a chief of community engagement, I have the privilege of making sure that our office is connected to the community in a relational way. And so our investigators, our attorneys, our victim witness advocates, our admin, just making sure that we are plugged into our community partners, that we are easily accessible for residents. Right now during COVID-19, one of the things my office has been facilitating is making sure that, as you know, Chelsea has been the hardest hit by COVID. And so we were out there this week just serving food, partnering with an organization, Chelsea Collaborative, and just out there serving food, making sure people have what they need. And so right now, particularly because the courts are closed, we want to make sure that our presence is felt. And so I'm just helping to coordinate, making sure that we're out there and that the community knows that we're there and that we care.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that. And in this series has shown the realism of what's happening in our community, as well as the solutions for how we can, as a community, join together to be part of preventing that violence. And in today's episode, Trey's character was upset that his sister's murder has been remained unsolved for 2 years and feels as if the police does not care because the murder happened in an underserved neighborhood where mostly people of color live. Would you guys say that unsolved murders have a direct correlation to the violence in the community, and what can we do about it? Anybody can go first. I feel like there's a lot of blurred lines. I don't really know, like we as a community need to work together in order to make those, like, what you call it, those murders solved instead of unsolved, because there's a lot of people that don't talk, and it may be for different reasons, like regarding safety, but I feel like if more people were talking, like the unsolved cases would go down, then that would like show that the community between the police and the community is like going somewhere.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So when I say that unsolved murders have a direct correlation with violence in the community, I would say in two ways. Number one, if there are murders that are going unsolved in our community, that very well could embolden somebody else to say, you know what, people are catching bodies in the community, they're not getting caught for it. Maybe I can do the same thing and not get caught. So one issue we have with unsolved murders is it can embolden somebody else to feel like they can do that same kind of behavior and cause more harm. But secondly, I think the because when we talk about unsolved murders, we're talking about in the Black community, right? And I think that it highlights the fracture between communities of color and police, right? And there's been a history all over the country of the challenge of that relationship, right? Because communities of color have been over policed, have been over criminalized, right? And the impact is tremendous. And so one of the things that I do want to say that so there's a challenge right there. And I think that the unsolved murders highlights the fact that do we feel like we have the avenues to share information? Do we feel safe? Is there trust between police and the community? So I think that that's something that we have to continue to build on. And it's not just on police, it's on us as well. And so I just really quickly, I want to just shout out the Children's Services of Roxbury. It's a community organization in Roxbury that works with young people. They have a program called Youth Police Partnerships, where police are going and spending time with young people and building relationships. And our office just became a part of that. And I just want to highlight it because we can highlight the challenges and the difficulties, but there's so many people who are doing tremendous things on the BPD as well. And those are the kinds of things that we need to do to solidify that relationship so that trust can be built, so that when it's time to share information to keep the neighborhood safe, we feel like we have the requisite avenues to do that. And right now, the unsolved murders is showing us that we got a lot of work to do.
Thank you so much, Grant. Jacori, Janai, do you guys have anything else?
I was gonna say, like, I feel like, when we talk about unsolved murders, like, it also comes down to the people in our community, because sometimes people don't feel safe about talking about like murders and stuff like that, because like there's always that code, like no snitching and stuff like that, because people are like scared for their life. And I feel like that's where the police and like stuff like stuff comes in, like if you want like protection for them as well. So yeah.
You broke off a little bit near the end.
I at the end I said, if the police want people to speak up and stuff, they should make sure like there's some type of protection for them as well.
Mm. And it's funny how you say that because Destiny in the comments said growing up in the hood, it was always seen something say nothing, see something say nothing, no snitches, snitches get stitches. And in the series, Monty's characters told Trey that the streets don't talk. How much impact do you guys think snitching or not snitching has on the community in terms of violence?
Jacor, you want to jump on this one?
Yeah. So definitely when it comes down to this, it's just people make it seem like I know we mentioned one time we had this discussion yesterday. We were speaking upon how everyone wants to be gangster, and this is like a term that people that's involved in the streets and people use. You know what I'm saying? This is like a gangster slang. And so with that being said, it's just like making sure that this isn't a trend. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to feel like they're involved with the streets and you know what I mean, be like a tough guy when in reality that's what's actually hurting us. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding that, and it's not about like putting yourself down. It's not about like taking a step down, but it's just like seeing things from a different perspective almost. You know what I'm saying? And once we get that understanding of each other and where we're coming from, things could be perceived in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're looking at it as in you're degrading yourself in your hood by speaking up for your community, you know what I'm saying? It's like, of course you're not going to want to do anything because you feel like you're violating. But if you're realizing that by speaking up and speaking for this victim, it's like going to help us, you know what I mean, indicate who are the people who are causing this ruckus within the neighborhoods and who are the people that's not. It gives you the opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, like be a part of that, like be a part of a real community and actually help each other. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're not all labeled as criminals and like criminals and so on and so forth, but we're able to see the people that are causing that ruckus within the communities, and we're able to separate ourselves from them and work on becoming a better community. You know what I'm saying?
Can I jump in on this? So I just feel like the frustrating thing about the not snitching piece is I feel like not snitching is a street thing. That's a street code thing, and they don't even hardly follow it. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's not fair for the rest of the community to have to carry the code of no snitching. When we not like if I ain't involved in the activity, if I'm not a gangster, then no snitching don't got nothing to do with me. I am a civilian and a resident living in this community, right? I ain't no gangster, right? But the activity could be putting me or my family in danger. So I feel like the not snitching thing is a street thing. So that's for them. That ain't for us. That ain't for the regular civilians who's trying to live their life day to day, who's gonna be dodging bullets. If two rivals is getting into it, and a lot of times what happens in the hood too is there's no regard for who's around. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it can't be like, yo, a small percent of the population is the ones doing all the shooting, but we got to carry all their baggage by talking about not snitching like we gangsters too. We not gangsters. We not. I'm not a gangster. I got children. I want them to be safe. And so I just feel like we need to be real clear about, yo, who's that for? And then when we examine the street and we examine how much they hold the code and not snitching, we find a whole bunch of people talking all the time anyways. So to me, it's a mirage. It's fake. It no longer should hold us hostage. Like, we need to keep our community safe. And here's my thing. If you are a gangster and you want to be in that lifestyle, then have also the code that your beef is not going to interfere with our regular everyday life when we going to and from school, going to and from work, our moms is coming from the grocery store and home, make sure they're not impacted. Right? Like if y'all want to do that over there, and it's not that I don't care about them, I do. But the not snitching thing has nothing to do with regular, normal civilians. It's the street thing. They don't even hardly follow it themselves, and we shouldn't have to carry that baggage feeling like we can't say nothing because we carrying their baggage. Nah.
Right. It's almost as if we're being held hostage in our own communities. It's like we don't like people, they might do it for a safety thing. Like, what do you say to those people? Oh, I don't want to say anything because I feel like they're gonna come and like hurt my family for saying something like that. Like it's kind of tricky because you do have a really valid point, but it's kind of like it's kind of hard to avoid the conflicts that might come afterwards. It's kind of like also a pride thing too.
No. So Debbie, I get that, and you guys jump into. I totally get that. I feel like if somebody's like, "Yo, my life is at risk," and I don't want to say anything, I totally get that. Like I totally get that. But to me, that's a different reasoning than I'm not gonna say nothing because I'm holding down the code of not snitching. That's different. If I'm not gonna say nothing because I feel like my life and my family's life is at risk, I'm with you. I'm with you, right? Because we have to live with it, right? But if my reasoning is, my concern is not blowback, my concern is I ain't a snitch. And you ain't a street person, you're confused about who you are in society.
That's true. That's true. And I know you brought up this good point about policing the community or policing ourselves. Like, how much do you guys think we need, like, community policing versus policing our own community? And, like, what does that look like, too?
Ja'Cory, you could take this one, bro.
You're muted, Ja'Cory.
Oh, my fault. Can you put it up on the screen real quick just so I can see the question again?
Yeah, it's how much do we need community policing versus policing our own communities?
I definitely think it's necessary. So I live in Mattapan, and I have B3 that represents my neighborhood. And for the most part, especially like in the summertime or just year round, B3 makes sure that they engage with the community, right? And that's one thing that I idolize about them because I know like the officers that police this community. You know what I'm saying? I feel close with them, right? And so I just think a relationship like that needs to be established all over the city. Because even like speaking for my friends that live in the South End, like they don't have, like, when it comes to police, they keep themselves separate from that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like being sure to just build those community relationships. And there's more than enough ways to do so. It's all about how much effort we're putting in as a community to put pressure on them to do so and how much they're willing to spend time with community members and get to know them. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time it's like, these people come into our neighborhoods thinking that like they have this type of perception on us as a people, and they treat us a certain way without even knowing us. And it's like we're not obligated to build a relationship with them, but it's just like you're not going to sit here and come in my neighborhoods, and tell me what to do and push me around without having any understanding of what I go through on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Corey, totally. And I feel like I want to jump onto the question too, like I feel like within our communities, like people need to get out that gangster mentality. Like not everybody has to be like involved with the streets and all of that. Like not everybody, just because your friend had a problem with the police doesn't mean that you have to be disrespectful to the police too. It's just like I feel like everybody, like, you just need to get out that mindset and like, because there's not going to be a world where there's no police. That's what people need to understand. So it's just like, why sit here and act like like you're about this and all of that just because you see other people doing that too, and it's not making things better.
Exactly. We have too much of that. Oh, monkey see, monkey do. What were you gonna say?
I feel like we got to keep it a rock. I feel like, if something's happening with my family, who am I calling first? Who we calling first if we in an emergency? Who we calling?
Police. Straight up.
Police. We calling the police. So I again, one of the things I appreciate about the series you guys are doing, I feel like the issues that you guys are speaking about, you're speaking about it in a real way. And you're speaking about how do we resolve it in a real way. And it's not pie in the sky. And you'll be surprised how many conversations are going on with all kinds of people with all kinds of titles where it's just ring around the rosy, right? So I think we need both. I think I think that we need culturally competent and compassionate officers walking through our communities, meeting residents, and building relationships. You feel me? We need you to be culturally competent, right? You need to be compassionate, right? And you need to be building relationships. So you actually walking through the community. And so that moms, that brother, that sister, that they start to recognize who you are and you become a part of the fabric. And I want to give BPD credit because, again, and I love the balance here is we can highlight an issue. There's a lot of them that's doing it. Some of us know the community service officers that's out there all the time. That in fact, they are so much a part of the community that people don't even see them just as an officer. They listen, they part of the community first, and they're a police officer second. And so I think that when we talk about building that bridge, we continue to need to do that. And then when we talk about like policing ourselves, you know, I remember I grew up in Roxbury, and I grew up in between St. Joe's and Warren Gardens. And when I was growing up in the 80s, most of our neighborhoods, you could identify them based on race and ethnicity, right? So on my street, on Rockland Street, it was all black families, right? So it made camaraderie and it made familiarity a little bit easier, right? So the grandmother next door knew me and my siblings, right? We knew everybody in the neighborhood knew one another, and so there was more of a community feel, and there was like built-in accountability. Because if I was wilding and Miss Louise saw me from next door, when my peoples got home, Miss Louise was going to tell my pops, yo, he was out here wilding, and then now accountability comes, right? Whereas now, because of gentrification, one of the things that's happened is our communities are, you can have neighbors that you don't even know that are of different language, different ethnicity, and the diversity is beautiful, but it makes unity more challenging. You know what I'm saying? It makes coming together more difficult. So I'm all for integration. I'm for it. I want nobody to say, did you know that someone from the Suffolk County DA's office came on and said they're not for integration? I'm for it. But I'm also saying that the byproduct of that too is that we're separated from one another. And so trying to have accountability in our community is very difficult because it's filled with a lot of different variables and elements that we may not necessarily be familiar with and may not know how to interact with. And so we really, really do need our police to be dope community police people. And I'm going to say it again, culturally competent and compassionate.
Exactly. With more community, people feel more comfortable like holding others accountable, and they don't feel like they're stepping out of place. But like, what steps do we need to take to make more relationships like that? Like, how realistic is it? Because one of Destiny's commenting, and she's saying how police brutality against people of color is so traumatizing. It doesn't make people feel safe. So like, how do we try to get past that history and that trauma? Because some people can't let go of it to begin. So it's kind of like hard, you know?
Yeah, I think it can only. I think it can only happen in conversation, right? Where we create spaces to begin to get to know one another. You know, one of the things that I remind people of is that police officers are also people. They're going home to families. They got to pay bills. They're trying to survive. I remember being a kid and thinking that teachers slept at school. I remember when I was a kid, and for a while I was thinking, yo, these teachers, I couldn't believe when I saw teachers outside of school. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was like in my early elementaries, I'm like, yo, y'all leave the school. This is amazing, right? Because in my mind, the only thing I saw was you are a teacher. I only saw them as their function. Police officers aren't just officers, they're people, right? Right. And we aren't just residents you protect and serve. We're people. Like we're real people with real names. And so the relationship needs to be built. And the reason why I highlighted the youth police partnership happening at the Children's Services of Roxbury is because I believe Teen Empowerment can do something like that too, where you guys actually create a space, right? Where officers can come in and begin to have conversations with young people and begin to build a bridge. And you guys give us that radical leadership that we need to follow. And I think, yo, you guys can do that. And we could talk about that offline. But when we talk about solutions, what if we got officers to come in Teen Empowerment once a month or whatever frequency, and they was going to come not just to talk, but to listen. You know what I'm saying? And relationship was going to get built. To me, that's the only way. There's no fast forward and pass doing the hard work of owning the harm we've done, right? And listen, me as somebody who's a part of the Suffolk County DA's office, even though I'm from Roxbury, I got to own the harm that this office has done now that I'm there. I don't get to be like, nah, I ain't a part of it just because I'm from around the way. No. You're a part of it. You got to own it. So I think if law enforcement can own the harm that's done, it gives us the space to be like, maybe we can have a conversation. It's the same thing in all of our relationships. If you harm me, it's like you do me dirty, right? You do me dirty, and then without addressing how you did me dirty, you thinking me and you's getting ready to chill or just like act like everything's normal. None of us is going for that. We like, yo, fam, we got to deal with the offense before we get back to like being cozy relationally. It's the same thing in this relationship with law enforcement. We've got to continue to create space to build, and I think teen empowerment can be a real strategic place to make that happen.
Thank you so much.
I just got one comment. Just one comment. So like you was mentioning, Ricky, you said one thing about like us being able to see police officers, you know, aside from an officer, we could see them as an individual, a community member, right? I think many times, and this is my personal opinion, I think many times people go into that position for that higher power and that authority. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they can't even come to the space. I understand it's like protocol, but they can't come to the space without their gadgets because they're like, I can't lose that power. I can't step down. But you know what I mean? I still want to be a part of it, but they just can't. They can't give away that power.
And here's what's so difficult, Corey. You bring up something that's so important, bro. Remember MLK said this, right? MLK said that we don't want to be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character, right? And so maturity, yo, is only for the few, right? Because it is emotionally difficult to say, okay, historically, this law enforcement agency has been harmful to my people. However, in my maturity, I'm going to give officers a chance to develop a relationship with me personally. See, a lot of people can't hold both of those, right? And I don't criticize them because it's difficult. And there are some people who've had interactions with the police that are life changing, it's changed your life, right? So I'm very, very sensitive, and I don't want to make anything seem so simple and so easy. So I would just say that there's a lot of work to do. And you're right, Corey. Some people get into these situations because they want the power, but that's not going to work in our community.
Exactly. Not only do we need a space to build, but also the space to forgive. Like, speaking upon forgiveness, like how much conflict and retaliation a part of the violence is, and do you think forgiveness is like realistic for our community?
Naya, what do you think?
I was just about to say, I feel like conflict and retaliation plays a big part in our communities because that's just how like once you retaliate, that's how you continue that cycle. Like that cycle of like violence, all of that. And it's just like until you're able to be able to like put yourself in like just a place where you could just, you know, forgive that person, but that person will also have to like own up to it as well. And that's why I feel like if forgiveness will be really realistic for our communities because it will stop a lot of things that are going on.
What do you think, Corey?
Yes, I do think this is a big part of just a cycle of everything that happens and takes place within, you know, our communities. And it's definitely possible. You know what I'm saying? Like me, myself, you know, based off of me and like how I was raised with the people that I had around me and the support, you know, it's easy for me to forgive just because of my beliefs and so on and so forth. And I'm really in tune with my spirituality, which is something that's like, it's a personal thing, but I really suggest other people do the same. You know what I'm saying? Just get more in tune with themselves because the reason you're holding yourself back is based off of what this person's saying. You're not really thinking for yourself anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so I took the time to separate myself from that bunch to realize like, yo, like I'm my own person. I make my own decisions. I have my own beliefs. I go by whatever I decide to like make for myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people aren't living by that. They're living by what the next man's telling them and the next man's doing. And I think once people separate themselves and see themselves as individuals and start to make decisions for themselves, better will come along. You know what I'm saying? One of those things will be forgiveness and being able to see a person for who they are and also seeing yourself for who you are and bringing everything to the table and making the best out of it. You know what I'm saying?
And guys, I would say, you know, is retaliation a part of it? Yeah, it's a huge part of it, right? Like, I mean, when you think about the hurt of losing somebody, right? Somebody took my family member or they took a friend whom I loved. I've worked with young people for a long time. I know I'm working with the DA's office right now, but my work history has been working with families of young people. And I can remember working with a 14-year-old back in the day. It was a young man. And your normal 14-year-old kid from around the way, laughy, jokey. And I had moved away for 2 years to North Carolina to do some youth pastoring. And when I got back, this same kid that I had known was now one of the most well-known, you know what I'm saying, players in the community in terms of just violence and drugs and all that. And when I had inquired about what happened, I had heard and found out that one of his best friends had been brutally stabbed and murdered and killed. And from that place, he just snapped. So I bring it up because the retaliation, right? We can't disconnect the retaliation from the hurt, right? Because if we disconnect the retaliation from the hurt, then we look at the retaliation like something that's just monstrous. But it's not. It's human reaction. That's one. Number two, right? And I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I understand it, right? But I'm not saying it's right. Number two, I think it's impossible for us to imagine the community the community we hope for without forgiveness. I think it's impossible for us, the community that all the four of us hope for. It's impossible for us to really imagine that without forgiveness being at the root of it and being at the center of it. And I think that what is it going to take? A couple of things. I think it's going to take the Spirit of God. I think however we understand faith, I think that that as human beings that we have our limitations. And I think that we have our limitations in terms of hurt. I think there are certain things that people can do to us and certain lines they cross that we don't even know how to get past that, you know? And so, I don't never want to minimize nobody's pain. So I think it's the Spirit of God, but I also think this, y'all, and this is where you guys come in. I think that it's going to take radical leadership. I think it's going to take people who are impacted by the violence to say, no more violence. Let's have peace. It's going to take radical peace from the victims, unfortunately, right? Because if I have been impacted by violence, my voice don't matter. But it's the families who've been impacted when they step up, and they have been. And as they continue to step up and say, yo, we don't want no violence. We don't want no retaliation. We don't want no revenge. That kind of radical leadership can be a value that we as a community adopt, where we don't retaliate. We don't. It's bad enough someone died. We don't, as a community, we don't retaliate. There's got to be accountability, and we got to deal with it. But going and killing another person that looks like us, not like as a community, I would love to see us adopt that. But forgiveness is absolutely essential if we want to be a community where we feel safe, where we can love one another, where we can move about our community and neighborhood without looking over our shoulder. But I believe it's going to take God to help us, honestly.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much for those wise words. Exactly. But yeah, I feel like we also need to find it in our heart to like forgive ourselves and others. But like the question is, what do you need, in order to find that forgiveness? Like some people need different things. Some people don't even need anything at all. And only you truly have that answer. And like Ja'Cory said, it's like shifting your mindset and like the way you look at things, your perspective is when you're going to find that true answer. But thank you so much, Mr. Grant, for taking your time to be with us tonight. And thank you for tuning in to the episode 4 of Senseless audio series. See you on Tuesday, May 12th at 7 p.m. for episode 5, where Mrs. G schools Quan and the L Street gang member. We'll get a clear glimpse of Quan when we meet Uncle Jimmy, a member of his family. See you next Tuesday and have a good night.
You.